My friends, you are being lied to nonstop, around the clock. You are being fed a diet of dangerous nonsense that will light the world on fire. We have in this country lost touch with our history, with the events of the 20th century that almost pulled the world into an abyss from which it would not have recovered. Had we been born or survived at all, would be slaves. That is how close the darkness came. This is the warning. These are historic days. Men are trying to take power, and with it, your rights to speech, to conscience, the ideas of liberty that are foundational to America have lit and inspired people all over the world. These ideas are worth fighting for, and 1 million Americans over the last 250 years gave their lives to defend not deals, not real estate transactions, but values. The ephemeral freedom, the notion that all men are created equal and endowed by a creator with inalienable rights that include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it is this idea that has inspired free people around the world. Free people fight for their freedom. And the United States has always stood on the side of freedom. It has stood on the side of the men and women around the world who have raised up a fist and said no, until very recently, until the appalling, shameful, and embarrassing scene in the Oval Office. John Kennedy talked about assembling a cabinet of excellence, talked about assembling a cabinet of character and purpose and dedication. Donald Trump has assembled a freak show. Let's take a look at the shyster who is the Commerce Secretary, the billionaire Howard Lutnick, who has dined out on the 9/11 tragedy for 25 years, trying to mask his scumbaggery with acts of what he calls empathy. The truth is, he is an immoral man. And now he is one of the faces of the U.S. government. He is unworthy to say the name Zelensky out loud. But listen to this man. Listen to him denigrate Ukraine. Listen to him parrot Putin's propaganda. Appreciate his ignorance. What a lightweight he is. There he sits next to Wolf Blitzer, spewing utter nonsense, incapable of understanding the reason there is war in Ukraine is that Ukraine has been invaded by a tyrant and a dictator that has killed their people, has raped women, has raped girls, has raped old ladies, and has kidnapped children. And Howard Lutnick sits there and says that the impediment to peace is the invaded people who have picked up rifles and fought back and killed the Russian savage. It is an extraordinary moment to watch this buffoon, who was incredibly, just weeks ago, given power with Democratic votes. Let's watch the immorality.
We love America. We appreciate America. You know, we want you by our side. And if you think we should have peace, we should have peace, right? But instead, he said, I want $300 billion in reparations from Russia. I want them off my land. I want all the land, really, all the land and reparations and security guarantees. The answer was, it's just way too far. That's not a peacemaker. That's a troublemaker. And that's what the president saw. And he took it for 40 minutes before and 45 minutes in front of the camera. And then it was just enough already. Enough.
Enough is about right. JD Vance is crazy. JD Vance has decided, because he is a Peter Thiel disciple, a wacko, that the threat to Western civilization is not the Russian ballistic missile raining down on European men and children. No, It's the enforcement of laws in Germany that say we won't tolerate speech by Nazis.
That we're not allowed to debate ideas, that we're not allowed to discuss things, that we have to silence people, censor them, throw them in jail for silently praying outside of an abortion clinic. These ideas are going to destroy Western civilization. They're going to destroy Europe, and they would destroy the United States of America if we allowed them to fester. Thank God we have a president now who believes in free speech, but the danger is still there. The danger is there in Europe. The danger is there in the United States of America. We have to ask ourselves the questions as leaders. Are we willing to defend people even if we disagree with what they say?
Personally, I think European speech laws are restrictive. I don't like them. I don't support them. I believe in the First Amendment, and I think every free society should have a First Amendment. But every free society is not the United States of America alone, and each free society must be free to make the decisions about how they regulate the most offensive and hateful type of speech that within the lifetime of 80 years burned down their cities and killed in excess around the world 80 million people. Though that simple fact has been forgotten by MAGA, though it has never been learned by JD Vance, it has not been unlearned by the Europeans who remember the starvation, who remember the Holocaust, who remember the rise through democratic elections of the greatest evil and virulence in world history. They remember. JD Vance thinks and serves a cause that believes and holds that Germany and France, yes, this is what Viktor Orban has said, are part of old Europe, postmodern Europe. What Orban has said is mongrelized Europe. Europe now, Orban says, is Central Europe, and Europe is values, it's civilization, specifically white civilization. This is what yokes Orban to Hitler, and it explains the affinity of all of these people for Vladimir Putin, the world's most powerful fascist. So powerful indeed that he can bend to his will the most powerful man in the world, the President of the United States, who he has turned into a yellow-striped belly crawler who debased the United States, the presidency of the United States, and the Oval Office with an act of submission and weakness and surrender that is unprecedented in the entire history of the United States. These are low days. Tonight, Donald Trump, the head of the Article 2 branch of government, the executive, a man who sent a mob to storm and attack and piss on the floors and shit on the floors of the Article 1 branch of government, will again breach the doors and come to desecrate the place with venomous words of division, lies, lies, and more lies, which he will spew forth. What should Democrats do? Some Democrats say the thing to do tonight is to dress up wearing different colors. Some say they should wear black, others pink. Some say the thing to do is wear white. Some say they should bring placards and degrade the Congress in the same manner that Trump degrades it. Because, of course, degradation is a contest they can win against Donald Trump. What Democrats should do is sit in silence. This man who is attacking and savaging the government, this man who is assaulting the Atlantic Alliance, this man who is breaking the law does not deserve respect. Stay seated as he walks in. When he starts parroting the Russian propaganda lies, silently stand up one by one and walk out. Let it start one and then the next and the next, and let the trickle turn into a line and into a flood of people leaving and walking out. Here is the thing, my friends, whether it is for Europe's leaders or Democratic politicians, what Donald Trump needs, what Donald Trump craves is to be at the center of things. Walking out on him moves the center. It pushes him to the periphery. When the Europeans meet in London and there is no Trump and they act, Trump moves to the periphery. handing Trump, like Sir Keir did, a golden ticket from King Charles like it's a Willy Wonka candygram is the wrong thing to do. The wrong thing to do is to appease Trump. The right thing to do is to do what this man is doing, Doug Ford, who amazingly is undercovered and unseen in the United States, despite the fact he is the only leader in the world who has been elected since Donald Trump's inauguration explicitly, clearly, and directly on a platform that says, trust me, I won't back down. I'll stand up for you. I'll fight Trump. And fight Doug Ford will. Doug Ford at this hour is fighting for my American values. Doug Ford at this hour is fighting for your values, our country's ideas and ideals, by being tough, by being steely, and being defiant against an unwarranted economic attack by the most powerful economy in the world against our neighbor, our best friend and ally, with which we share the longest undefended border in world history. This is what Donald Trump is attacking. He is pouring acid on the bonds of friendship, the combined faiths of people who have bled together, fought together, saved the world together. Canadians landed on Juno Beach. They were shoulder to shoulder with Americans on D-Day. And Donald Trump has no goddamn right to do what he is doing. Shame on him. And shame on any American who stands with that bully and his despotism in this hour of assault and degradation against all of the things that we have long held true and have even longer claimed to believe, and commit ourselves to saying that we would never allow what is happening to happen, and yet it happens on our watch, this generation of American citizens who sit and see and must believe that Elon Musk is this. Donald Trump serves an evil cause. See it clearly. This man that comes into the Congress tonight comes as an invader of our values and ideas. He is a most despicable man. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.